Hello, everybody. How are you all doing today? So, I just came back from a 1 week cruise vacation to Alaska. This is my first time ever being on a cruise, and it's definitely a very different experience from the previous kind of travels that I've done. In the past, I'm usually someone who likes to, explore the city, immerse in the culture, try out new spots in the area, and just like kind of go about everywhere. And being on a cruise for 7 days straight, of course, like we have places where we dock, but if you know like the Alaska schedule, it's kind of chill. And there's not too many interesting places to visit. So it's mostly really just a really relaxing trip where you're just on a cruise, eating, enjoying, getting yourself pampered by the cruise line members. And I have to say, the first 1 or 2 days, it's been a challenge for me because I'm constantly like, okay, what else to do next? What to do? How do I enjoy my life here? Right? As if like I need to plan out or as if I need to do things for me to enjoy. And but I would say like towards the end of the trip, I'm starting to get into the routine of things and really enjoying the customer service. Oh my gosh. The customer service on a cruise is a whole new level. I've never been on a cruise before, so this is my first time. Oh my gosh, like the level of attention they give you and the level of like every time when I talk to a cruise line member there, I feel like I'm the most important person there. Like they really listen to you. They are so attentive of you. And they have, you have like dedicated reservations every dinner. You have a specific person that comes in to clean your room every single day. So over time, you develop this relationship with the members in a way where they really understand you and they really know what you need and they really know what you're looking for. And so over time, you get like this personalized experience. Like every morning, the person who cleans my room, like she knows that I want my curtain to be open so that I can look at the ocean view from my balcony window. The person at the dinner, they know that I always want to have dessert wine and a cup of tea after my dinner. There's just so much more personalization, and I feel so seen and so recognized there, which is so interesting. And I'm like starting to use like coming back home now with this new and refreshed energy. I'm looking at my like how I'm living my life on an everyday basis and really asking myself as well, like where am I just tolerating, right? What are the habits and what are the things I have in my life right now that's just tolerating? Like I'm just tolerating it, and but they're not giving me kind of vibes that I really want to feel, right? They're not making me feel good. And I'm really having to kind of like look at my life differently from like this new lens of like, how can I improve, make my everyday experience so much better? How can I, do I need to open up the curtains as well every single day to let the sun come in when I work? Do I need to add in more candles, right? To send up my working space? Maybe it's time for me to change my bed cover, right? There are a lot of different things I'm also starting to think about to really elevate my standards in my everyday life. So that's something for you to really think about. And today we're really going to talk about this idea of jumping realities and jumping timelines. Doesn't that topic just sounds so interesting, right? I know that if you're listening to this episode, you're also someone who really loves energetics, who really want to learn more about manifestation, creating results deliberately, learning how to manage your energy and things like that. And so we're going to help you really like talk about how to create a different reality for yourself in a way that's very intentional and in a way that doesn't have to take a long time. And this is one of the revelations I've had coming back from a cruise, and I want to share with you. The first thing is you have to get out of waiting energy, right? You have to step out of I'm waiting for something energy, like get out of waiting energy and get out of preparation energy. I think for a lot of us, especially women, okay, And if you're a man listening to this, that's okay. But just know that a lot of this waiting mode, I actually read this comedian. Oh, I forgot what her name was, but there's this stand-up comedian, and she did a skit recently where she talked about how, men just sleep, but then women have to get ready to sleep. Like women is always getting ready for things. We're getting ready to go to bed. We're getting ready before we start the day. Whereas men just jump straight into sleep. They just go straight to an event. Whereas women spend a lot of time waiting, a lot of time preparing for something or getting ready for something. And that's such a very interesting analogy and an interesting perspective for you to really start to think about. Are you constantly in waiting mode? Are you constantly in getting ready mode and preparing mode? Where are you still preparing for something? Where are you still waiting for something instead of really being able to jump from preparing into it is happening right now, right? Because there's a huge difference. After coming back from cruise, in I would say in the first week of tapping right back into work, it feels a little bit rusty just because, I've had a week of break. And so it feels a little bit rusty and coming back is also, I'm also running for the first time, my first ever group experience in Deering. And we just started this month. And I've never really had, like the last time I did a group was probably about 2 years ago. And so this everything about it just feels so new and a little bit rusty at it. And so coming back and also just coming from back from a long break, the first few days I find myself just feeling a little bit anxious and feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm not ready yet. I need to prepare this content. I still need to record a video. Oh my gosh, I need to send out reminders. Oh my gosh, I need to get the members engaged. And there's so many things, and there's just overall, there's still just this energy of I'm not ready yet. I'm still not ready to run this group. I'm still not ready to have this group start. I'm not ready to just tap into it. And then from this place, I feel like a lot of us, like if I can take this analogy way deeper, this has definitely been my pattern of just always being in getting ready mode instead of having it being here right now. Like it's already happening now. I feel like a lot of the time I spent in my life, especially before I discovered life coaching, has been about getting ready, preparing for something. Like, oh my gosh, I'm not there yet. I need to, hone in my skills so I can be enough. I need to still get a certification so I can finally be ready, so I can finally feel capable. I'm still getting ready. I'm still preparing for it. It's still not happening right now. And this is the one of the biggest mistake and the biggest things that I've seen among my clients, also with myself as well, is not really stepping into the reality of it is happening right now. So if you find yourself in a transition, right? Also, like sometimes our brain can show up in sneaky ways. Sometimes you might tell yourself that, "Oh, I'm still in transition. I'm still figuring it out. I'm still getting ready." And what I want to offer is you want to decide that it is already here. Even though you can't see it right now with your own eyes, you have to tap into the energy of if it is already happening right now, then how would I feel? If it is already happening right now, how would I feel? And what would be the different actions and habits I would do from this place? Right? After I notice that I'm in that pattern again of thinking that I'm not ready to run my group yet. Even though it's so funny because I already plan out everything, all the content, everything is ready. I had the members signed up. Now I just need to run it. And somehow in my mind, I still feel like I'm not ready to run it yet. And the moment I realized that, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is happening exactly right now. Okay. Like, how do I embody it? How do I step into it? I decided that, you know, I am the coach for a group program right now. It is happening right now. And that's how I can truly tap into the present moment to execute and to get out of my own mental drama in my head, right? And so another example that I can offer for you was I was also coaching a client the other day, and she was saying about how so she is in transition. So in 1 month, she will be moving to a different city with a new job. And right now she feels like she is in waiting mode. So every day she's like planning for her move. She's kind of feeling anxious about it. She's still figuring it out. She doesn't know what to do. She feels like her life is not moving forward. Because she's still waiting. And what I want to offer for her is, doesn't matter when you move. What we really help her tap into this place is really seeing that any type of change can only happen right now. Even if it's you're planning for your move, the planning also happens right now, right? I asked this client, like, I asked her, if you know that you're already there, if you already finished planning, if you have already moved in with your partner in this new city with this new job, then what would be different? And she told me that her partner currently is going through a hard time with his family. And so she told me that if I've already moved, then like I will finally feel like I have space and capacity. Like once I figure everything out, then I'll finally feel like I have space and capacity to really be there for my partner, to really work on our relationship. And what I offer for her is actually notice how right now you're waiting, right? And when you're waiting, when you're in this waiting energy, what happens? You're frantic, you are feeling frantic, you're anxious, you are not thinking about your partner, you are still in waiting mode. And from this waiting energy, you're not actually being there with your partner right now. And everything happens right now. All the planning for what's ahead happens now. Right now is the most important time that you can ever tap into, right? It is about getting out of waiting, preparing, not yet energy, and jumping straight into the now energy. It is happening now energy. And that was such a powerful moment for her. And I want to also offer this for yourself as well, is that everything can only happen in the right now. The planning for what's next also happens now. The really being there for your relationships happens right now. It happens in this moment as you're listening to the sound of my voice. Doesn't matter if you're driving or if you're doing your chores or if you're just working out and listening to this podcast. It happens right now, right? And the most important thing, like any type of change happens in this moment. And the most important thing that you can really work on is learning how to be present. Learning how to get out of your mind's drama to be present so that you can be here and really execute and really focus on this reality. And then this is how you can really see that, okay, if in this very present right now, as I'm listening to Shirley's voice talking, if this in this moment, I have already achieved my goal. Right? One of my goals for this year is to create regular, consistent 10 to 30K months every month in my business. Right now, it's still a little bit on and off. It's still a little bit, there's still ups and downs. And my goal really is to create that level of foundation, that level of stability in my business to be able to create 10 to 30K every month. And so my work right now for me is instead of still getting ready and preparing for that to happen, I have to decide to be in the energy of now, right? If right now in this moment, this month, as I'm recording this episode right now, as I'm filming this in May of 2024, I'm already making regular 10 to 30K months. What would be different in my energy? How would I show up? What behaviors will I do? Perhaps I won't let my schedule feel so impromptu. Perhaps there will be more planning. Perhaps I will be more intentional with my mind. And perhaps I will be so much more intentional about how I spend my weekends. These are some things I'm really, really thinking about as I am tapping into this energy, right? And sometimes it's on and off. And the key is about really working on maintaining this energy and really practicing the state of being in this energy long enough until it becomes a new normal, right? So that's what I'm working on. And so for you, what does that clear reality and that vision for you look like? What does that goal look like for you? Well, first of all, that goal has to come from something that's intrinsic, right? Like for example, for me, my extrinsic motivation is having to be able to make 10 to 30K per month. Like that's what fires me up. That's like the kind of like the surface level external goal, but then what that it's all about what that means, right? So what that shows to me to be able to have that external goal, it shows me that I'm like so deeply connected to my why and to my people and to my service and my purpose in this world. Being able to make that level of income regularly, it shows that my mind is thinking on a whole different level. It shows that I have so much, I have really elevated my standards in my life and in my lifestyle, in my relationships in a way that meets, that allows me to generate and to have 10 to 30K of income that is circulating in my ecosystem, in my community's ecosystem, right? And so that's the intrinsic motivation of my why for wanting to reach that goal. And so for you, think about what is that external goal look like? What specifically, what's the reality that you want to jump into, right? Jump into right now. What does that look like for you specifically? Does it have any numbers? If it doesn't have a numbers, does it have anything tangible that you can measure, right? Maybe it is that you living in a completely brand new apartment that you just purchased for yourself. Maybe for you, it is being able to speak on this amazing stage regularly and consistently. Maybe for you, it is to be able to wake up every day and be able to look at your partner beside you and just feel so much and just feel so happy that they are beside you, right? There's tangible things that you can tap into. What does that reality look like for you, and how does it feel, right? And why is it that you want to create that reality for yourself? And then instead of being in waiting mode, what would you be doing differently? And how would you feel differently? Feeling is so important. How would you feel differently if that is happening right now? If that is happening right now, what would you do differently? And then what you can do is you want to kind of like pick one trigger point that will be able to help you access this reality. So for some people, it's a sentence that can help them tap into it. For some people, it is a somatic experience they feel in their body that can help them tap into it, right? For some people, it's like an item that can help them tap into it. And so what is that trigger point for you to trigger and constantly remind yourself about this new reality? Right? It could even be a note, right? For example, I have a sticky note that I write 10 to 30K months is happening right now. Like I just write that sentence and I put it in my desk. And every time when I read it, and when I see it, it activates that reality for me to be able to tap into it. And so find that trigger point for you so that you can constantly remind yourself and constantly tap into this experience. That is so important. And the very last thing I really want to talk about is yes, it's important to create this reality, and it is like this part is crucial. Okay, you have to work on maintaining this energy, and you have to work on being intentional with it, and to constantly practice it over a period of time until it becomes normal for you, until it becomes a new state of being. What happens a lot when people are learning about life coaching or they are practicing new beliefs, tapping into different realities, working on manifestation, the reason why it, like why it quote unquote doesn't work is often because they haven't done the practice long enough. Like they give up after one day, or they have these spikes where they get coaching for one session and they completely feel this shift, or they go to like this one motivational conference and they completely feel this shift. And then they come back to their regular routine after some time. It is about maintaining a certain set of habits, a certain way of thinking long enough until you can truly imprint it into your nervous system, until it becomes a new level of normal for you, until it feels like no big deal, right? And a lot of this work, like this is the reason why they say that one habit, it takes at least 21 days for you to truly create that one habit. This is the same thing with your level of thinking. This is the same thing with jumping realities, is that you can jump into a reality one day, and the work is working on maintaining and sustaining this reality long enough for at least 21 days, like at least long enough until you can, until it becomes a no-brainer for you to tap into it, right? And it requires intentional practice, because think about it. Before creating this level of result for you, you've had the years, you've had decades, like, right? Like 1 or 2 decades of doing the same thing over and over. And that has been you, that was your normal. And now you're completely rewiring your internal system to calibrating yourself to this new reality that you want to tap into. And so it is not going to happen overnight, but I also want to say it also does not have to take a long time. It just requires intention and your willingness to be deliberate about it on a daily, regular basis. It really is daily, regular work over time that creates this momentum. And so, jumping realities, it can be simple, but it doesn't, but it might not take overnight, right? It can be simple, but it might not take overnight. But also, it also does not have to take a long time. It just takes intentionality and takes your willingness to be able to be here, to be able to be deliberate and be intentional about it. That's all it takes. Okay, I hope this has been helpful for you. Really think about what is that reality that you want to jump into. How do you get yourself out of preparation mode and enter the it is happening right now mode? And if you want to discuss more about it, feel free to send me a message on Instagram at Daring Living. We can talk so much more about this. And I hope that this has been helpful for you. Have an amazing week, everybody. Create different reality for yourself and decide to tap into a completely new energy. I know that I can do it. I believe in you so much. Have a good one. Bye.